Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 11 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we have got news out of Beaufort County where a man is now facing embezzlement charges after he allegedly stole money from a gas station. Warrants say that 30-year-old Dimitri Johnson took money from a Speedway gas station while working there as a clerk in December. Johnson embezzled more than $1,200 from the store, according to warrants. He was charged with 2 counts of embezzlement. Johnson was taken to the Carteret County Jail and is facing a $20,000 bond. His next hearing is scheduled for February 6. And in other news out of Kinston, 2 people are now facing child abuse charges. Here are those 2 individuals. Now they were arrested recently in the investigation that police say is related to a video depicting a child being abused. Now, Kinston police officers were called to a reported disturbance in the 400 block of Manning Street at around 6:30 p.m. yesterday evening. Police say an investigation found that 40-year-old Amy Gauthier and her son had gotten into an argument over a video showing child abuse that was on a cell phone. According to police, the video showed evidence of a 3-year-old being abused by 37-year-old Joshua Stockton. Warrants detail that Stockton is the father of the young child, who has autism, and he could be seen restraining the child on the bed while trying to change a soiled diaper. Stockton could be seen using his body weight to hold the child down, quote, slamming the child into the mattress, end quote, and covering the child's mouth and nose to, quote, prevent the child from screaming, end quote, according to the documents. Now, Gauthier's son provided officers with the video, and a further investigation found that law enforcement had previously reported concerns of child abuse by the same individuals to the Department of Social Services. However, the previous investigation was closed. Kinston police contacted DSS about the evidence obtained. Stockton and Gauthier were arrested during the investigation, and 5 kids were placed in DSS custody due to their arrests. Stockton was charged with the following: 4 counts of assault with a deadly weapon with a minor present, child abuse, exposing a child to fire, assault by strangulation, and felony assault on an individual with disabilities. Now, Gauthier was arrested and charged with 3 counts of felony aiding and abetting and 5 counts of misdemeanor aiding and abetting. Both were taken to the Lenoir County Jail without bond. And now we turn to your weather forecast. Of course, all the focus being put towards the weekend forecast, and rightly so. We've been talking about the potential for snow in the east. Ironically, before we get that snow into the east, we're going to be seeing air temperatures cruise all the way up into the 60s. Low 60s, but above average temperatures the day before we're supposed to get snow. So as you can see, we're going to have some difficulties just because of the heat present in the east the day before. But let's take you to exactly what we've got outside right now. Currently 36 degrees with a southwesterly breeze at 7 miles an hour. Feels like 30 degrees. It is still a cold day outside. In fact, today's air temperature is going to resemble yesterday's temps fairly closely. Right now, most of us are sitting generally in the mid to upper 30s. We're looking still at the low 30s for Roanoke Rapids, as well as Ahoskie and Plymouth, coming in at 32, 33, and 33 degrees respectively. But winds out of the southwest, plus a little sunshine today, is certainly going to help those temps rebound a bit. Not so much today, but certainly for tomorrow. It's really overnight tonight where we maintain a lot of the heat despite clear skies. For today, we're back in the mid-40s in the afternoon. Overnight lows, though, will stay at or above freezing throughout most of eastern North Carolina. And that is a nice way to start a January Saturday. 32 degrees at 7 turns to 35 by 8, 41 by 9, and then we are into the 50s by the time we reach 11 and into the 60s by the time we hit 1 to 2 p.m. Cloud cover will build throughout the area tomorrow. It's going to be gradual. We will start out the day with mid to high level clouds, and then some low level, thicker clouds start to move in as we make our way through the afternoon. Again, note those southwesterly winds should blow in at about 6 to 12 miles an hour. That will again bring in a little bit more heat to carry us into the low 60s. But now we've talked about Friday today. We've talked about Saturday. Let's talk about what's coming up on Sunday. For Friday and Saturday, again, there you see the clouds cover building, but Sundays, well, really it's Saturday night into Sunday morning's cold front. That's going to provide the cold air that will eventually lead to a potential for some snowflakes falling in the east. But Sunday morning at just about 4 a.m., that boundary, you can see it clearly by that band of rain showers off to the west, kind of near I-95. That boundary has to move completely off of our coast before the cold air behind it truly moves into eastern North Carolina. So as we make our way through the next few days, again, we are going to be focused on how quickly that cold front actually moves through the east. In fact, whenever I do this, I always forget to. There we go. That way I'm not some distant figure. But I want to take you guys through this. This is where we're at right now. That area of low pressure still further back towards really Wisconsin, kind of over the Great Lakes area. As we make our way into Saturday, that cold front will approach eastern North Carolina, but it won't cross over the east until we get into Saturday night into Sunday morning. The faster it moves offshore, the better our odds are of seeing snowflakes not just come down, but actually stick to the ground. So a lot of attention right now is being paid to the moisture content off of our coast. I would argue right now we need to focus on how quickly is that cold air going to get into eastern North Carolina, because at this point, moisture looks fairly locked in. We're going to have a moisture source. So we're going to have either rain, sleet, or snow coming down, but it depends on how fast that cold air gets in to determine which type of precipitation we're going to be dealing with. But this is what we've got early Sunday morning by the time we reach 9 a.m. And note how we still have rain showers coming down across the east, which that means by 9 a.m. that front is still draped over the Outer Banks and not fully pushed out into the Atlantic. So the cold air following that front will have yet to make it into eastern North Carolina. The faster that front moves out, the faster that cold air gets in, and the faster our air temperatures start to sink as that moisture rolls through. There you can see we get kind of a brief little glancing blow of some snow flurries there, but certainly nothing that is going to lead to widespread snow accumulations, regardless of how high we're anticipating them. Right now, I'm looking at perhaps a dusting of snow. For those of you watching, I would say north of Highway 264, and most likely, I would say east. I don't even want to say, we'll go certainly east of I-95, but I think we'll have a better opportunity for some accumulations as that whole system exits, which puts kind of that target zone on the north side of the Albemarle Sound. So Edenton, Elizabeth City, those areas surrounding those two cities, again, possibly seeing some accumulations, but it's going to be fairly light, not anticipating much out of this system because that cold front now is slowing down. So that cold air isn't truly going to get here in time to give everybody a good blast of snow. I think everyone at least has an opportunity to see some snowflakes come in as that whole system rolls through. So here's a look at your full 8-day forecast. We'll get my face off the screen and get the numbers up for you. 42 degrees Saturday night into Sunday morning. Before, we were looking at temps in the mid-30s. That would have, again, proved a little bit easier for us to cool down. But right now, we're going to be hanging on to air temperatures that are going to be above freezing, above 32 degrees, until we get into your Sunday, I would say, late afternoon to early evening. And by that point, most of the moisture is going to be pushing its way through the east. So keep the sleds in your attic or under in your basement, or wherever you keep your sleds, keep them in storage. We're probably not going to be needing them this go round. But that said, I do still think we will see some snowflakes come down as we head through your Sunday late afternoon through Sunday evening, and some accumulations on some grassy surfaces, elevated surfaces, or you get just kind of a little bit of a hint that reminds you that, yeah, no, we're still in wintertime, despite what what Saturday showed us. But overnight, I think the most concerning point is the air temperatures are going to be falling well below freezing Sunday night into Monday morning. And that could lead, for those of you who do have to work on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, aware that it is a national holiday, but yours truly is going to be in the office. So I'm sure there's probably going to be more than a handful of you out there who still have to go to work. You're going to want to leave early and drive slow on the roads. There could certainly be some slick spots out there. Now, of course, DOT crews are aware of this and they will be brining the roads, but with all of the rain showers that we're going to be seeing on Sunday, right now it's looking more like a rain event than a wintry mix, but all of that rain is going to wash away brine as that rain comes down. So we could still, despite DOT crews' efforts, just because of how this whole system's coming together, we may still end up with some slick spots on the roads, particularly on secondary roads. So again, take it easy early morning Monday for that commute. 20 degrees as you kick out, as you step out the door in the morning. That's going to be very cold, and again will lead to some ice on the roads, any roads that again remain wet. Now through next week we will warm up once obviously we get through Tuesday. Tuesday is going to be another cold day, but 47 degrees on Wednesday, turns to 53 on Thursday, 54 by Friday. Again, looking at more of a January type forecast again for next week, similar to what we've seen so far this week. Well, that's all we have time for today's 11 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your Friday, and we'll see you back here coming up at noon.